This 26 Sports and CCTV high school football presentation is brought to you by Wolverine Power Cooperative and Great Lakes Energy. Your local electric cooperative is looking out for you. And by Munson Healthcare Cadillac Rehab Services.
Welcome back to Veterans Memorial Stadium here on the 26 Sports and CCTV Michigan High School Football Game of the Week between the Petoskey Northmen and the Cadillac Vikings. I'm Derek Tate alongside Dan Gussert. Vikings have a 7-0 lead, but the Northmen are threatening with a second and goal at the 2-yard line. What did you see in that first quarter from both offenses who had long sustained drives?
Some very solid ground game and two big pass plays, one from each team at key points of their drives.
Here we are. It's going to be Gabe Whitmore working out of the shotgun on second and goal from the 2. Whitmore gives Woods. He's going to walk into the end zone. Touchdown, Northmen. A 2-yard touchdown run from Brody Woods, and the extra point can tie this one up here on the first play of the second quarter.
And if you're Petoskey, that's just what the doctor ordered after that drive that they gave up to start the game. The Vikings chewed up most of the first quarter. Petoskey maybe a little more efficient, if we want to say, in their offense, scoring pretty quickly.
And here are the Northmen. They're going to go for two. A little option. Whitmore trying to throw it to his tight end. That one falls incomplete. So Coach Freilich tried to catch the Vikings defense off guard. That one incomplete. So the Vikings, similar to last week, hold a 1-point lead after a missed 2-point conversion. Cadillac, though, both offenses off to a great start.
Yeah, you know what? You can look at two big plays on both ends of the offense here. The Vikings found themselves in a long yardage situation, and a big run by Lamont got them back into position to pick up that first down. And then after a missed or a fumbled pitch by Petoskey, second down at 17, they turn around, make a big play offensively, and pick that up.
So you got to be happy if your head coach Freilich, when you saw Brody Woods on consecutive plays put the ball on the ground. Luckily, in both scenarios, one went out of bounds. The other one, Woods just fell on top of, and they were able to get that yardage back with a big throw to their dangerous tight end, Nate Eberly Rodriguez. And then Woods punches it in from 2 yards out, and we got ourselves a 1-point game here. And the kickoff, it's going to be number 65. That's Gus Baldwin. And it's a boot that is taken by Carter Harsh at the 19-yard line.
And he picked that up on the run like you'd like to see. He gets out just past the 30.
Tackled by number 2. That's Jaron Kelly on the stop for the Northmen. As the Vikings will take over with a 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line. Last week, Carter Harsh on the defense actually forced a 3-and-out against the John Glenn Bobcats, and it was a charging, high-flying punt where Harsh tried to get underneath of it. It hit him on the leg, and the Bobcats actually retained possession, so it's nice to see no ill effects on that. Harsh aggressively going after that one and setting up the Vikings at the 32-yard line.
We'll see what adjustments Petoskey's made on the defensive end to see if they can slow down this Viking ground game.
And speaking of the ground game, here's a pitch to Colin Johnston around the left side. And good pursuit from the Northman defense. That's Gabe Whitmore, not only doing it on the offensive end, but sticking his head in there from the defensive backfield. And only a gain of 3 for the Vikings offense.
Yeah, leading that blocking out there was Carter Harsh.
One thing I've noticed from both Carter Harsh and Colin Johnston, even when they're not getting their number called as far as the ball carrier, they do a great job trying to get out in front and spring these runs for the Vikings offense. Here's 2nd and 7. Give goes to Cochran over the left side, and that's going to be Eberly Rodriguez along with Gus Baldwin combining on the stop for the Northman defense.
Harsh and Johnston both just sophomores here for the Vikings. Johnston certainly saw a lot of action last year.
We've seen them have a integral role in this offense. And not only that, Johnston in particular on the defensive side of the football. He's already scored 2 defensive scores on the year.
There's a big difference at that point in life between a 10th grade young man and a senior. That's for sure.
3rd and 3. Lamond on the keeper. He
breaks
eludes
two
two
tackles.
tacklers
He's
and
gone.
into the territory of the Northmen, to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, falling towards the pylon, and they're going to mark him down at the 1-yard line. And that is a 62-yard run by Julian Lamond.
How about Tim Crittenden? You got to give that young man a lot of credit, because I didn't think he was going to catch him, and he did everything he could to at least prolong this Viking touchdown, make Cadillac at least try another play or two. Great hustle on his part.
And Julian Lamond breaking two would-be tackles within less than 2 yards of the line of scrimmage, and then you see him hit the Jets up the left sideline, almost takes that one to the house, and the Vikings offense in business at the 1-yard line. Lamond, he drops the snap, he recovers it, he was already down where he recovered the ball. He's at the 1-yard line. So Razio and Lamond.
And that's exactly why you see a player like Tim Crittenden do what he does, because he's a senior and he knows one play can make a difference.
Last week we saw the Vikings they went for it on 4th and short. Cochran unable to punch it into the end zone. It was a controversial call. But here they are again. They can add to their 1-point lead just under the 10-minute mark in the second quarter. 2nd and goal from the 1-yard line. Lamond gives Cochran into the end zone. Touchdown, Cadillac. Noah Cochran with his 2nd rushing touchdown of the season, and the Vikings retake the lead. Well, add to their lead. They're up 13-6 with the extra point pending.
Yeah, I almost called him Jake. His brother Jake graduated from Cadillac a couple of years ago with my son Mike. So hopefully, Noah, I get you by your first name correct here tonight, and do me a favor tonight, say hi to your brother Jake.
And here's Libby Lloyd on to attempt the extra
That's
point.
blocked.
That one is blocked. Barczewski unable to handle the snap. Can't put that one on Libby Lloyd. So
I think that was Jason Bedoin or Jason Bowden, number 55, with that block.
Yep, coming off the edge for the Northmen. So that one never really stood a chance. So the missed extra point keeps us a 7-point game with 9:47 remaining in the opening half. And again, we want to go ahead and thank our crew who's doing a great job for us here on this Michigan High School Football Game of the Week. In the director's chair, well, we originally were going to have Hannah Crouch, but we also have had Morris Langworthy and Wyatt Van Dynen. Replay graphics, Abby Merritt. Camera 1, that's Damian Brooks. And camera 2, that's Olden McCoy. And down on the field, shoulder cam, we got Dylan McCall. Thank you so much. You guys are doing a fantastic job here on 26 Sports and CCTV. So Cadillac, we have seen this rushing attack, which has been obviously the focal point of the Vikings offense. They have gotten into a rhythm here early, and Julian Lamond looks
that big
comfortable.
62-yard run, just breaking a couple of tackles, a nice little cutback in the middle of the field, and off to the races he went.
We have number 2 to kick off for the Vikings. That's Colin Hess. And taking it is Grant Tripp at the 15-yard line.
Tripp is going to be brought down, I think, by number 28 right there in the middle of the field.
That is going to be Brendan Green on the stop for the Vikings. Good field position for the Northmen to start their second possession of the game. They trail by 7. Their first drive was capped off with a 2-yard touchdown run from Brody Woods.
It'll be interesting, Derek. It'll be interesting to see what look the Petoskey team comes out here. If they're going to come up with that trip receiver look or they're going to go traditional.
They seem like they've had a little bit of success trying to spread out this Vikings defense. And they got a little bit of a pistol look. Whitmore out of the shotgun. Here's a quick pitch to Brody Woods. Woods cups it upfield and spins off one would-be tackler, but then gang tackled by the Vikings defense.
Woods gets the ball. He just scored that TD for Petoskey a few moments ago. And on first down, picks up 6.5 yards.
Brody Woods scored a 6-yard rushing touchdown last week against Escanaba, the talented running back for Petoskey. 2nd and 5 up and coming for the Northmen.
It's never a bad thing to run out wide like they did behind Eberly Rodriguez, too, at 6'6", 219. This time they go opposite of him.
And it's going left. Woods, not tough sledding along that left side of the offensive line. Tip Baker in the area, as well as Colin Johnston for the Vikings defense.
And I tell you what, I was watching behind the play, and Eberly Rodriguez moved his man probably 14 yards down the field. Even though the play went away from him, he continued his block and punished a Viking defender.
And you see him, he's going to be towards the bottom of your screen, and he looks like he's manned up against Logan Wild. Here is a 3rd and 3 for the Northmen. And they're going to go to the air, and they're going to convert that pass complete to Eero Gross. And he's near the 45, actually just past the 45-yard line. That'll move the sticks for Petoskey.
Looks like he was brought down by Cadillac's number 13, Luke Einhart.
Good pursuit from Luke Enyart. As we see that quick passing game, they've done that on a couple of occasions, just trying to get to their playmakers in space, and this one garners a first down.
You can see out here on Eberly Gross right now at the bottom of the screen, that's number 6 for the Vikings, Logan Wild. Logan's got good ups if they do look to pass, but he's got a tough assignment getting off him.
Quick pitch to Woods, and that's a nice stiff arm to Julian Lamont, but Lamont does shove him out of bounds, not before Petoskey gets into Vikings territory, gain of 9. And we see they're not trying to run right at this Vikings defensive unit up front. They're really trying to stretch them out. We've seen a lot of plays, in fact, most of their plays that have been able to chunk this Cadillac defense have been out on the edges. Good job from head coach Freilich, mixing it up, keeping the Cadillac Vikings defense on their heels. They've got a 2nd and 1. Woods up the middle. And good job pursuit from number 82. And that's Trenton Dennis. Dennis, that's his 2nd tackle in this game, but good job by Woods moving the sticks.
Good conservative play call right there. We'd seen him run wide to our side of the field twice and wide once to the far side on 3 consecutive plays, and then up the middle for the short first down gain.
Well, we've seen Cadillac's strength on their defense is their linebacker position. You got Colin Johnson, you got Tip Baker. We've even seen some plays from a couple other players along that defensive linebacker unit for Coach Mallory. 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line. Play action, rolling left is Whitmore.
He's got nothing to look at out there. He's going to keep it.
He's going to tuck it down and run and hit hard by number 13, Luke Enyart, out on the edge. That was well played there by the Vikings defense.
That'll make defensive coach Todd Baker a little happier to see Petoskey roll out and find nobody open.
Well, we saw earlier on the first drive one of those play actions, and we saw Eberly Rodriguez all by himself. So this time the Vikings defense wise to the play action, and they limit it to a 1-yard scramble from Whitmore.
You can see at the top of your screen, everybody, way back in the distance, the Cadillac Pop Warner football players warming up. They're going to be our halftime entertainment here tonight, along with Cadillac Marching Band.
We're going to have a star-studded show at halftime as Brody Woods, another carry for the Northmen, this one right into the teeth of that Vikings defense. 3-yard gain. It's going to bring up another 3rd down for Petoskey.
We want to take a quick moment to thank our sponsors here tonight. We've got Wolverine Power Cooperative and Great Lakes Energy, Munson Healthcare, Cadillac Hospital as our presenting sponsors here tonight. Fox Motors of Cadillac, your local Ford and Toyota dealership, and we'll get you the rest in a moment.
As here is the 3rd down handoff going to Eero Gross. And that one didn't catch the Vikings off guard. Tip Baker sniffed that one out. No gain on the play, and that's going to bring up 4th down and a decision here for head coach Freilich.
Yeah, 4th and 6. I kind of expect them to go for it from this point on the field. Hey, everybody, LC Materials, the concrete experts, are sponsoring tonight. Doug Glass of Cadillac for all your home and auto glass needs. Pizza Plus, Cadillac's local source for pizza and sandwiches for over 50 years. Cadillac Tire Center, your hometown tire dealers. As we get a timeout here, Eric, Builder's First Source in Cadillac, your first source for flooring. Stop by and see them today.
We got to thank all of our sponsors, and we really do appreciate all of the opportunities that we have to be able to call these high school sports here on 26 Sports and CCTV. Speaking of which, DVDs are actually available at CCTV Cadillac.org and minews26.com. You can order one game, you can pre-order a box set of your favorite team's games, or you can order the entire season if you would like. Box sets of numerous cities' games are available. And again, all these sports are produced with cooperation between the Wexford Missaukee Career Tech Center, CCTV, and MI News 26. And again, I always love mentioning our crew. They're doing a fantastic job.
Absolutely. And you know what? They come out in all kinds of weather. You and I are up in the booth each week.
Oh, we got the easy job.
We got the easy job. And these are high school students. They're over at the Career Tech Center here in Cadillac, and this is something that they may pursue sometime in their lives, something as a career.
I hope so. It's a lot of fun to do these games.
Absolutely.
A lot of fun to do these games.
Absolutely.
As we pick up action 4th and 7, and Petoskey is going to go for it. Whitmore working out of the shotgun.
I wouldn't think I'd be looking to Eberly Rodriguez if I was Petoskey here, and they are looking his way.
Whitmore rolling right, pressured by Baker. Keeps his eyes downfield, and that one airmailed over the head of Grant Clapadlo. And that's going to be a turnover on downs. Great job by this Vikings defense.
And that one got away from him a little bit right there. Certainly he was open. And Rodriguez, who was on this side of the field, snuck across the other side. But, when you got pursuit, you missed them. And Rodriguez was wide open. Luckily for the Vikings, they didn't see him.
Well, they tried to put a tailback to chip on Tip Baker, and Baker blew the play up, forcing the timing and Whitmore to make a really tough throw at full speed, sprinting to his right. And that gives this Vikings offense that have scored on 2 consecutive possessions to start this game quality field position at the 40-yard line. 1st and 10 for Cadillac. Pitch to Colin Johnston.
He's running hard.
And Johnston cuts it upfield. Whitmore from the safety spot meets him, but that's going to be a solid gain on 1st down for Cadillac.
This is a big point in the game early here for the Petoskey defense. They have not been able to stop Cadillac, and if the Vikings use up another 4 or 5 minutes of the clock, they can find themselves down pretty quickly here. 2 touchdowns at halftime.
We want to go ahead and mention we just saw number 52, Bryce Benjeling, come off the field, and in is Ben Meyer, the sophomore at left tackle. 2nd and 1 from the 49-yard line. Cochran on the carry.
How about that hard running right there as he just kind of moved the pile. I think he would have been short originally, but he's going to end up getting that 1st down.
Yards after contact. That is the name of the game for Noah Cochran, as he was contacted behind the line of scrimmage, took a couple of Northman defenders into their own territory, and that moves the Sticks. 5:38 remaining in the first half. Vikings trying to add to their 13-6 lead.
And you and I have a great view of that right where we're at, because that is right about where our view is, or vantage point is here from Veterans Memorial Stadium.
1st and 10 at the 49-yard line, and that play is blown up and dropped for a loss is Julian Lamond. Great job by the defensive tackle. Believe that's number 60, Bryce Beck. If I'm mistaken, please correct me, but great penetration there and drops him for a 3-yard loss.
It might have been 65 out there, which is Gus Baldwin.
That is correct.
But it's hard to say. I couldn't tell who got up off the pile there.
Yeah, I got to get my eyes checked, but either way, the Northman defense puts the Cadillac Vikings behind the Sticks. 2nd and 13 from the 48-yard line. Pitch, that one handled by Johnston. And Johnston breaks a tackle back into Northman territory and finally cut down by Mason Doe-Nymphy.
That play looked a little bit off on the timing there. Johnson was a little bit ahead of that. Not sure if it was a late snap, how that worked, but fortunately he was able to maintain control of that pitch, and Lamond made the pitch that he needed to make. The Vikings pick up about 8.
Corralled in that high pitch, did Colin Johnson, then with no hesitation gets upfield, and that's a gain of 8. That makes it 3rd and 5 here for Cadillac. Lamond rolling right, looking to throw. He's in trouble, and he's going to be slung down and sacked by Jaron Kelly, and the Northman defense comes up with their first stop of this game.
The Vikings tried to catch Petoskey with that same pitch play, and 2 of them didn't fall for it.
We just don't know how big the passing playbook is for this Cadillac offense. This time, that one diagnosed by Petoskey, and that brings out Colin Hess to punt, and Gabe Whitmore doing a little bit of everything for the Petoskey Northmen. He's back to receive right around his 25-yard line. And they're going to have some time to work with, just under the 3-minute and 30-second mark.
Hess with a good punt.
And Hess lets that one
Right
low angler punt. That one rolls around the 25-yard line, and that is where Gabe Whitmore and the Northmen are going to try to cut into their 7-point deficit with 3:19 remaining in the opening half.
No, I think we saw Colin right there do a little directional punting, keeping it away from the back.
Gabe Whitmore kept it away from him, I think, by design.
By design, yep. Put it down the sideline. If it goes out of bounds 5 yards shorter, that's all right. Cadillac's trying to prevent big play right there.
As we have the Northmen taking over with a 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line, trailing by 7. And it's Whitmore. He's going to start under center on this drive. He pitches this one to Brody Woods. And that play blown up by the Vikings defense, leading the way. Guess who? It's Tip Baker for Cadillac.
Tip got low and just stopped his momentum. It's the way you teach tackling right there.
Well, not only that, but he took on a block. It's what you call just submarining the entire play. If you can't get to the ball carrier, create a pile, and that just created way too much traffic for Woods. No gain on the play. That's going to bring up 2nd and 10 for Petoskey as we just got under the 3-minute mark remaining in the second quarter. Now, working out of the shotgun. Whitmore gives to Eero Gross around the left side.
And we got a flag down late on that play, as he picked up about 8.5 yards, but we'll have to wait and see what the officials say happened.
And it looks like it's in the area of holding, but we will wait for the official call.
And that's what it is. Good call, Derek.
Sometimes I like to try to guess, and even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. And that's going to be a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, so it should be around 2nd and 19 or 20 here for the Petoskey Northmen. We haven't seen a ton of penalties tonight. In fact, both offenses at some points on their scoring drives have actually gone in the wrong direction, only to be able to make up for it later with a big gashing play, whether it be through the air or on the ground.
I think the first penalty of the game we saw from Petoskey back in the end of the first quarter was a hold. And on the very next play, Eberly Rodriguez with a big gain on a pass. We'll see if they look for him here. They do not.
2nd and 20. Here is Brody Woods. He's got a lead blocker, and he breaks a tackle at the 25-yard line. Finally slung down by a host of Vikings defenders. Leading the way was Julian Lamont, but Brody Woods gets back the penalty yardage to give them a 3rd and manageable as we approach the 2-minute mark remaining in the second quarter. Tell you what, Brody Woods, probably the most effective player for the Petoskey Northmen offense to start this game in the first half, even though despite finding himself with 2 fumbles on that opening drive.
Petoskey not in any hurry right now. They seem content. I think if you see them get another first down, they get first down on this play, I think we'll see them pick up the pace. But right now they're going to say if we don't make it, we're going to use as much of the clock as we can. That's excellent coaching on their part.
And here's Whitmore on 3rd down.
Screen.
And he sets up a backside screen, and that's Woods. He's got a convoy. He's got the first down and more. Finally brought down by Tip Baker just shy of midfield, and dialed up a perfect play. The play call was Coach Freilich.
Yeah, and everything looking over to this side of the field where big number 86, Eberly Rodriguez, camps out, and you can't blame the Vikings for kind of leaning that way. And Petoskey goes opposite on this.
And they had
backside screen.
They had 3 offensive linemen out in front of Woods. Clock is still running, 1:24 and counting for the Northmen. 1st and 10 at the 46-yard line. Whitmore, play action. He finds his tight end on the backside, and that's number 88. That's Nora Gosiak, and there's a fumble. The ball is on the ground.
I think they may have ruled him dead.
They said forward progress had been stopped, so forward progress gives them a gain of 13. The clock will stop while the chains reset. First down, Petoskey.
That's a nice throw right there.
It was a great throw there from Whitmore. He hit Noah Gosiak right between the 8 and the 8. As they reset, and now the clock is running right near the 1-minute mark. Whitmore working out of the shotgun, 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line. Whitmore.
He's going to keep this one.
Quarterback sweep left, cuts it upfield and chopped down at the 37-yard line, and that's going to be the first timeout now from Petoskey with 54 seconds remaining. A big third down conversion to the screen pass to Brody Woods, and then they capitalized by finding the other tight end, Gosiek, on the crossing route.
I'm impressed with Petoskey's clock management here. You know, we saw them decide or get into that position where they had to decide, do we want to hurry it up? Do we want to slow it down? And they slowed down, ended up getting that first down, and instantly went full gear.
Well, you didn't see much time wasted in between those first downs. You know the clock's going to stop while they reset the chains, and clearly this is something that Coach Freilich has gone over in many practices, that 2-minute hurry up to the line drill, and they were able to be effective. And now they got themselves a second and manageable 54 seconds. They've got one timeout remaining, and a 7-point deficit they can possibly cut into it here before we hit the halfway point.
You know, and you see certainly at the college and pro level, that 2-minute offense very prolific. High school level, that's a whole different ball game. And when you're looking at 16, 17, 18-year-old fellows, you got to take your hats off to them.
As we have a 2nd and 5, we resume action. 54 seconds remaining. Northman with a 2nd and 5 at the 37-yard line. Whitmore surveying the field, fires it into heavy traffic, and that one luckily falls to the ground in the area of his intended target, Grant Klopodlo.
You know, and Crittenden was there also. I don't know if that was a mix-up in routes, as both receivers were kind of crossing there. If it was tended to be a crossing route and it was just late, something looked a little funky on that.
Generally, if two receivers are close enough to high-five each other, generally that's not how you draw it up if you're Coach Freilich.
Petoskey a little lucky right there.
As that pass falls incomplete, 3rd and 5 for the Northmen. Whitmore looking in the flats. He's got Klopodlo. He's got the first down and scoots out of bounds just inside the 25-yard line.
Yeah, you can see Petoskey's Eberly Rodriguez. All he's doing is clearing out that zone, and Petoskey at least 3 times now has hit a receiver coming beneath that.
It's even more dangerous if you get old Eberly Rodriguez out there and he can act as a blocker.
Absolutely.
If you dump it underneath. And then you got plenty of room to run. You see Eberly Rodriguez at the bottom of your screen. 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line. Whitmore out of the shotgun.
We've got a whistle here.
That's going to be a false start on Petoskey.
You know, we were talking a minute ago, Derek, that it's been really solid clock management by Petoskey, but it's also been very fundamental defense by the Vikings, as they're content to let them get a few yards, hoping that they will not be able to convert in the final 40 seconds here.
Well, with the exception of those 2 fumbles from Brody Woods on the first drive, this has been a pretty clean game. A couple penalties here and there, but both offenses have been pretty effective, but the defenses as well have made their fair share of plays. We got 1st and 15 at the 29-yard line.
Vikings run a blitz here.
That one complete to Klopodlo. He's looking for the sideline. He gets the lost yardage back and gets out of bounds to stop the clock. They still hold on to their 1 timeout. 35 seconds remaining. It's going to bring up 2nd and 10.
That's that little game of chess going on between the coaching staffs, as the Vikings, Colin Johnston blitzed right up the middle, and Petoskey had a play called where it was a quick out.
Couple quick outs. We've seen a screen to Brody Woods. Mixing it up is Coach Freilich, and there's another pre-snap penalty on Petoskey. Another false start, the second of their last 2-3 snaps. And the Northmen going in the wrong direction. They just got that penalty yardage back. Now it makes it 2nd and 16, 35 seconds remaining at the 30-yard line. Still within striking distance is Petoskey.
We want to remind everybody to stick around for halftime, as the Cadillac Pop Warner football team will be playing along with the Cadillac marching bands on Salute to Service night here from Veterans Memorial Stadium.
Whitmore in trouble. There's a flag on the play, as Whitmore is going to tuck this one down and scoot out of bounds right at the 20-yard line. But unfortunately, this one is coming back, unless it's going to be on number 80. I believe that is Jay Goulash. Unless it's going to be illegal hands to the face on Cadillac, it's likely in the area of holding.
You know, there was a little mix-up between some players way behind the play, right where that flag had been thrown, and great job of officiating right there as that official brought the player from each team together and said, settle down, boys, and then throw a flag and give anybody a 15-yard penalty. Just simmer down and play football.
And that is going to go against Petoskey, though. Another 10-yard penalty, and really they have hit a wall of yellow flags once they've gotten inside the 25.
3 out of the last 4 plays, I think, have been penalties.
Still in striking distance. They just need to get what they lost back. We've got 2nd and 30 at the 45-yard line.
Screen.
Whitmore. Oh, a beautiful
Center
screen set up there by Brody Woods. Woods got all the yardage back, and he's still going and finally dropped to the 21-yard line. And there's going to be another timeout, the final timeout taken by Petoskey. And that screen couldn't have been drawn up any better there for the Northmen.
That's the second screen on this possession that Petoskey has drawn up and been very successful on. The first one was a backside screen. This one was a screen right up the middle, and we saw 4 Viking try to get into quarterback, and that ball went right over their heads, and 30 yards later.
We saw Brody Woods had 5 escorts directly in front of him, did a great job not outrunning his offensive lineman, getting behind him, navigating through some traffic. Now we've got a 3rd and 9, 13 seconds left. You can likely take a shot to the end zone here if you're Coach Freilich. I don't know what the kicker's range is, but you have an opportunity here with 13 seconds to possibly put this one to the end zone. Maybe you want to take a shot to your big tight end, Nate Eberly Rodriguez. He's had 1 catch so far in this game.
You know, when that pass was made and I saw that screen set up, I thought, oh, this is going to go. But the Vikings defensive backfield did a nice job of corralling him, keeping him within his blockers, and were able to make probably a touchdown-saving tackle there.
They're able to fight to live another down here. 13 seconds left, 3rd and 9 from the 23-yard line. Whitmore looking. Lets it go, looking for Eberly Rodriguez, just out of his reach. Good coverage from Logan Wild, and boy, did Whitmore get walloped by Jay Gulish.
Yeah, he had a lot of time to make that throw, and he took one for the team right there.
Staring down the barrel of the gun, let it rip, and Rodriguez had a chance at it. But good coverage there from Logan Wild.
And Rodriguez looks a little he's a little sore heading back to the huddle there. I don't know if he landed on his shoulder a little bit.
Looked to be laboring a little bit, favoring his shoulder, but he's going to stay in there. Last play, more than likely, of the first half. 7 seconds left. 4th and 9, and the offense stays on the field. Whitmore working out of the shotgun. Back to pass. He's in trouble. Somehow evades 2 of them, but finally corralled and sacked. That's going to be number 58, Clayton McKinley, logging the sack for the Vikings defense.
Huge play by the Viking defense right there to snuff out that Petoskey drive with half a second on the clock, but I think there's a flag on this.
And it's going to be on Petoskey. That penalty is declined. We'll have one more snap from the Vikings offense.
We probably would expect to see them take a knee, but you never know.
Head coach Freilich has to be a little frustrated as his offense, 3 penalties, 2 of them pre-snap penalties, really killed any momentum that drive had and any chance that Petoskey had to tie this one up heading into the midway point. And the offense comes out onto the field led by this one's Aiden Gurdon is going to go under center. And looks like he may just take the snap and take a knee. And that is exactly what happens, as that is what concludes the first 2 quarters here of the Michigan High School Football Game of the Week on 26 Sports and CCTV. The Cadillac Vikings lead the Petoskey Northmen 13-6, and we'll be right back with all kinds of halftime action here at Veterans Memorial Stadium.